Thank you for tuning in to Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. We're glad that you're with us, that you're rocking with us. It's a great time to be sharing all this goodness with you. We got a really dope interview coming up with M.O.M.on.the.beats, maker of music on the beats. So, we're excited about that. And of course, music industry news as always, and beats by yours truly.
Yeah, it's another wonderful week. Glad to be here, and let's get started.
All right. right. Thank you for tuning in to Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. Y'all, I'm so excited because we have returning to us M.O.M.on.the.beats, M.O.M.on.the.beats, maker of music on the beats. How you feeling?
Good. How are you this morning?
Good. So yeah, we're very, very happy to have you back. Just in case somebody's kind of tuning in for the first time and they haven't heard anything about you, could you please give us, a little bit of background, who you are, what you do, and when you discovered that you needed music to be a part of your life?
So as was mentioned, my name is, I go by M.O.M.on.the.beats. It's a newly adopted moniker. I actually started producing about 12 years ago and walked away from it when I was producing the first time around. My name is EQ, but I'm more mature now, and life experiences and personal experience and everything has kind of let me kind of take a step back to reevaluate, who I want to be or who I want to present myself as to the world. And so mom is it because I am a mom. I have an 8-year-old daughter. But then I'm also a lot older than most of the folks that I'm competing against in the music industry. So I figure I'd be mom on all accounts because of that. But yes, so I discovered at the age of 31 was the first time that I made my first beat. And from that point on, it was something that was awakened. I'd always played instruments and stuff in school, but once I got the opportunity to actually kind of compile all those different instruments and make an actual song, I was hooked. And I stepped away, but it was more so I had some lackluster experiences throughout my, I won't say career, but, throughout the process of trying to become a producer. And then, personal things happened. I had a baby and all these other things that came into play and kind of, made me take a step back. And so I stepped away for about 12 years, but I've been back since 2019, to the end of 2019. So I'm going on 2 years back into it now. So.
Isn't that something how, you can set something aside for a little bit, but when it's in you, you just can't stay away. Like it just keeps calling you back, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's something that, I've improved technically and I've picked up some different DAWs and I'm also using an MPC and stuff like that. So it's like I'm being a student all over again. And so it's reignited this excitement in me. So, being a student and then being able to produce and actually be able to produce at a better level than ever before has been just awesome for me. And then, getting to connect and work with new artists that wouldn't have been around, the first time around. Or the artist pool has exploded, and then also the level of talent has just exploded. So it's an exciting time, I think, to be a producer.
Absolutely. And okay, I know Breezy's just itching to ask you something, but you mentioned that you picked up a lot of DAWs. I have to ask, what's your favorite right now?
Really, the MPC is so I got my MP July of last year, and up until now I've been using it pretty much just standalone, and I wasn't using it as my primary DAW. My primary DAW in the beginning was Pro Tools, but it started to sound dated. I felt I needed to upgrade and everything, so I got a whole new setup. My husband allowed me to get one of the rooms in my house to be my own studio, so I was able to get a whole new. So I have a new computer, everything using Studio One, but since MP did their recent 2.10 update, where they give you synth sounds and keys and some of the sounds that were never available before, it's been awesome. So right now, my primary is definitely the MPC one using the MPC software.
Awesome.
I'm able to knock out some good stuff in a really short period of time. So I love it.
Okay, that's what's up. I know all the gearheads out there are probably smiling right now.
Yeah.
Having the conversation. All right, Breeze.
So, with your extensive background, see, right now, you're the one who's really chock full of vibes. Okay,
I appreciate it.
because you can be ambidextrous because you go with the new, go with the not so new, go with the power that worked back in the day, and blend all of that in, just as you're saying, for the moment of what you're in with who you're working with. And so, and everybody can't do that. Everybody can't do that. So that's a distinct advantage that you have. And, I'm also putting that out there like that because some folks are really kind of, they're unidirectional. Okay, they don't have anything that they've got. Whereas you're multi-directional and can really come from so many dimensions just by your experience, especially when I'm trying to think of that word. It's like it aged like the wine. Okay, so when you were away, those dimensions were aging and mellowing. That's the word I'm looking for. So now that see that all of that has mellowed, and so you're a powerhouse.
I appreciate it. I really do. I just kind of make what I feel. And, with this whole new sound that's out there, and there's been several iterations of different sounds since, I put it down the first time. And so I'm kind of like swimming in this pool of uncertainty, like, do I stick to what I know? Do I venture over into doing the things that everyone else is doing now? Do I just kind of do my own thing and do all of that? And that's kind of where I settled. I just came to the conclusion that music is music, and like I want to touch everybody. So yeah, I took that mellowed out approach that has come with age, but I still occasionally, do something that's big and loud and heavy and everything. But yeah, the sound is actually an expression of my confusion with what's going on in the world with music right now and finding where I belong. That's really where my sound comes from. Experimentation. I try all kinds of stuff.
So you're not saying that sometimes you actually act up. Are you saying that?
I do sometimes, but it's when I was a younger person doing this, everything was, and I kind of got my little notoriety from being in beat battles and stuff. So of course the beat battle arena is like a boxing arena, and so when you're getting ready to box, you're getting ready to just your point is to beat your opponent. And so some people do that in a big and loud way. And when I was a younger person, I was a bigger and louder person. But life now and age, probably more so age, because when I get up, my knees crack, has kind of helped me to mellow, not even mellow out, but more finesse that sound. So still be able to give big emotion and big feeling, but in a more finesse, more confined way. Because it's like if your message is loud, but all it is loud, it kind of just goes out into the world. But if you kind of box it and keep it still a big message, I think it's received in a better way. And again, that's coming from, kind of watching and paying attention and seeing how things are done now compared to how they were done in the past. Everything is a lot more mellow. Even the so-called, hyper beats with all of the 808s and all of that kind of stuff. It's still real chill. Everything is very, very, very chill in music right now. And so it's kind of hard to act up when you gotta act up but still be chill.
Yeah, you let that act up come out every once in a while. Okay.
Yeah, so but it's fun. I mean, I'm really enjoying just actually throwing my hat in the ring and being taken seriously again, because when I first started doing this, the platform was MySpace, and MySpace was much different than the IGs or the TikToks and stuff. Like, you actually have to show yourself and present yourself to really stand out now. Before, you could just put your music up and but you really have to like present your whole package in order for people to pay attention to you. And I guess some folks are paying attention to me because they so,
yeah, absolutely.
It's really cool. Like if I'm in my IG travels and I go into somebody's live camera, somebody that I don't really interact with or they don't interact with me or whatever, I pop in the camera just to kind of get an idea of who they are and see what they're up to. And they shout me out, M.O.M.on.the.beats, what's up? So like that's so cool to me because I was just like, wow, yay, they think I'm a cool old lady. So,
Well, it's probably because you're so authentic, and so like with everything that you do, you can see that you truly love music, and so it's really magnetic.
I appreciate it. I really am truly just expressing myself. It's truly an intimate view of what is going on here in our home. You see my daughter's in there. My husband might be in there one day. I might have my daughter, if it's a day where she actually is like, Mom, I want to make a beat. I'm super excited. So I have to, but I have to hide the card. I have to hide the camera from her because she does not want me to film her. So if you ever see me posting of her and she's, she's not talking to me or saying, why are you recording me? She doesn't even know.
Oh, wow.
Because she really doesn't. This stuff is truly candid, live, what is actually going on in my house at that moment. And so, a lot of people actually told me I need to incorporate the mom aspect more, but I try to not go the gimmicky route. I want to be seen and known for what I can do and not, I'm a mom that makes beats. There's lots of moms who make beats. Achickwitbeatz is a mom and she makes beats. So it's not a novel idea, but it's still not seen. It's not usual, I guess, because we separate those things. I kind of incorporate both, but at the same time, I don't want that to be the primary focus because my husband doesn't really like being on camera and my daughter doesn't like it. So I don't want to force them into something they don't necessarily want to do. But when those candid moments, when they do allow me to do it, I share it because it's beautiful to me. And I'm just trying to share the beauty I see through my family and the experience in my home. That's just a regular home, not a fancy home, we're not in a big fancy studio. We're in our house, but we still try our best to present the best music that we can present. So,
man, that is a beautiful thing, isn't it, Breezy?
Yeah. Sometimes those candid moments like that, that can turn into your phone ringing, with some big folks up there wanting to take that to a higher level with some dollars and more dollars, because we know some people that has happened to. Okay.
Now to say, if somebody called my phone and said, hey, we want to capture your family and your experience and stuff, hey, I'm down. And I'm sure my husband at that point will be like, how much? Okay, I guess I can.
That's right.
Come out of hiding.
That's right. We know some people that really think that exact thing has happened, and next thing you know, it's just kind of multiplied into something that they never even thought was possible. And so, we know some people that have done that are doing that right. So, hey, you never know.
Right. Well, my husband and I were actually talking about this yesterday or the day before and saying, I was like, what if we got hit up and blah, blah, blah. I said, I won't be surprised, though, if somebody takes the concept and runs with it using an actor or, a predestined person that they want to put in this role and all of that. I prepare for a future that I don't know is going to happen, but I hope does. So I take certain steps, like I've trademarked the mom name. I've done different things because I see, even though I don't act on the gimmicks, I see the opportunity for it to be a big thing. So I've copyrighted my name. I have different merch out there. I have merch out there, and because I have the merch out there with my logo and all of that, I went ahead and put a copyright on all of that stuff, a trademark on it actually, to ensure that, you know, if some legacy is supposed to come from this for my family, that I protect it before it even gets going, so that you know, that's the good thing about working a 9-to-5 job. You get them business senses a little bit sooner, and you start thinking in different ways to kind of protect that side hustle that you got going. Which, you know, right now it's not even a hustle for me. It's just it's a love that I'm hoping to somehow move into a hustle that I can, you know, we all want to live that dream where we do what we love every day. So I still set up those little things in the background to ensure that if something does happen, that we're ready to go. So
that's the vibe. That's the vibe we've been talking about. That's the vibe we've been, because, you know, there's a lot of folks out there, you know, they're not paying attention, you know, and this stuff is coming through and they're not even snagging it, or they're not aware. Hey, you know, if the big boys can do that kind of thing, there's people out there at lower levels, they can actually grab, you know, we keep talking about that, and you're a living example of what we've been talking about week in, week out.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh yeah. Trust me, I've seen quite a few M.O.M. no period at the end, knockoff names and all of this. I'm waiting for the one that adds the last period so that I can send them information, let them know it's copyrighted, you can't use that. But I've seen that. I see simple things that I do. You know, I don't know if it's that it's a lack of originality, but I think this is the generation that likes to replicate instead of originate creations. Not to say, you know, it's showing homage, and that's cool and everything, but I think that they, instead of sitting down and thinking, oh, what can I do to be that person that creates this? They're like, oh, this trend is hot, let me jump on it and do my version of that trend. And so, you know, being older, we don't do that. We come from the I don't bite generation. So I don't bite. I do what I feel. I do what is natural, what comes to me naturally. And I try not to be what everyone else does. And I think that authenticity, like you said, does help me get a lot of engagement, because it's not the same thing they see coming down that timeline up and, you know, all day. Even the sound is not the same sound you're going to hear every time. So, but at the same time, knowing all of that, I keep an eye out for the biters, because it's going to happen. Yeah. It's going to happen. I see even little small things that you might do. You scroll and then you see somebody, I'm like, wow, y'all move quick with your bites. But it's how they work. So I'm still trying to catch up to the technology myself. So, you know, but I do come across it and say, oh, I wonder where you got that idea from.
Right. Man, but
I get
it sucks, but congratulations that you're doing something that people want to copy, and that, you know, what you're doing is fresh. You know, it's always a breath of fresh air when I'm scrolling and you pop up on the timeline, like, oh, what's she doing? You know, like, and it is a different sound, which, you know, thank you for that too, because I don't understand how people aren't tired of hearing the same beat just through different people all the time.
with different variations of the hi-hat roll. It's the same premise. You lay a melody and you add some hi-hats and some 808s to it. Yeah. Now, not to say I can't do that. I obviously can, but I don't want to do the same thing that everybody else does. So if my sound is dated to most of the folks, that's fine to me. It's still my sound, and I'd rather present my sound than my version of somebody else's sound. And that's what we do in here. You know, if I'm in there, I'm like, babe, come listen to this beat. I'm recording. I'm like, hey, how do you think about this? And a lot of times I'm building the beat as I'm on it. But it's truly what's going on. So I can't imitate what's natural. It's so I just do what's natural, and I think it helps that I am more mature because it gives you a confidence level that maybe the younger folks are still trying to find. And I hope it inspires them to be confident. Like, yo, this old lady get on her, she don't comb her hair, her kid's hair is all over the place, but she's still sharing the art. And that is ultimately my goal, is to share my art with everybody else. It's not to, try to go harder than this person, or not to try. I'm just trying to share what I'm doing here in my little hole in the wall. That's and that's truly what we do. I do. My husband, like I said, but he is a very big support system behind me because he does all of my engineering. So, the videos are the pre-production and everything. But when I post a full done song, that's his stamp. That's his quality stamp that shows this is big, clean, professional. So we're a perfect couple in the sense that we support each other's art and we work together to make an ultimate creation, just like we did with our child. So she's the next level now. We're sharing that experience with her as she's open to it. So we're keeping it all in the family. So, because I'm mom, she's kid. Dad doesn't go by dad, but we're keeping it truly all in the family because I figure if it doesn't happen for me, I have a legacy. I have the opportunity to train a child from ground up to do something that maybe she wants to do like her mommy. So I'm hoping for that. So.
Yeah, that is phenomenal. Yes. So, before we get ready to wrap it up, I'm gonna let Breezy, ask any last minute questions or lasting thoughts or anything. But could you let everyone know where they can check you out? All of the music platforms, social media platforms, and all that. Make sure you got your pens and everything ready so you can check her out and follow her everywhere she is.
So what I've learned that you can just Google my name and all the little stuff comes up. So you just Google M.O.M.on.the.beats.
Perfect.
But as one big word, M.O.M.on.the.beats, no spaces or anything like that. Like all IG pops up and YouTube and all of the different platforms pop up. But yes, I do just go by M.O.M.on.the.beats on pretty much every platform. I secured that name on every platform out there in anticipation that it would become something great. So
awesome. Well, wait, it is something great. Just the rest of the world needs to figure it out. That's all. They got to catch up.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Breezy?
Yeah, I was just going to say, leave that vibe right there. Don't adjust, don't add, don't detract, leave the vibe right there. And just, keep it real like you are and just keep flowing.
I appreciate it. I will. That's all I can do. Like I said, I have to always reference back to my age, but my age actually helps me to navigate this whole thing a lot better this time around. And I was 31 years old the first go around. I was grown. But being for real grown now helps me to really have the confidence and more discernment about how I approach different things. And so it could just be that God was telling me it's better now. Just do it. This is the time that I prepared for you to do the things you wanted to do before. So it's, hey, better late than never is how I look at everything. And if I make my first major placement at the age of 50, that's an awesome thing because it'll help all of my older moms out there look at themselves and say, my life is not over. I can do something fantastic and make my stamp on the world by just being who I am.
Yes. So. Man, that's a beautiful thing. And we're really glad to have you back on the show. It's always a delight, and hope we can do it again sometime soon.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I do appreciate when folks ask me to tell my little story and everything. So I always appreciate any love and support. I really do.
All right. Well, yeah, thank you for taking the time to share your story with us. And till next time.
All right. Bye, Breezy.
All right. What a great time. I'm so glad that she was able to come back and share her story, her knowledge and wisdom with us. So, just really thrilled to have her back on the show again.
Yeah. A lot of great views, a lot of great info. And so, we ended up on the positive end of this interview. She really, really great.
Yes. All right. We're going to take a quick beat break, and then we'll be back with music industry news right after this. Okay, and we're back with music industry news. So this one has kind of just been buzzing all over the place that Universal Music Group has published their prospectus, and they're planning for the $39 billion listing. So just in case you're not sure what a prospectus is, it's a formal document that's required by and filed with the SEC, which is the Securities and Exchange Commission. So, it's a document that has all the details about the investment offering to the public, and those have to be filed for stocks, bonds, and mutual funds and all that good stuff. So just a little background on that. So with them publishing the prospectus, one of the most interesting things I think that we learned from that is that the top 50 artists at Universal Music only accounted for 23% of UMG's recorded music revenue in 20. So, I mean, you know, that's mind blowing to me. So, no single artist has accounted for more than 1% of the company's recorded music revenue from last year. So, you know, it's just kind of crazy if you think about like the artists that they have on their roster, like ABBA, Louis Armstrong, Beatles, Beach Boys. So you would think that, as you know, with so many popular acts, you know, even Nirvana, I mean, the list just goes on, but not one single artist was responsible for more than 1% of the revenue last year. So, you know, it takes a lot for them to be pulling in the money that they do pull in.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, the playing field is low. So, you know, which is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, another interesting tidbit that came from that is that their recorded music business is geographically diverse. So they're not just relying on artists from one set location. So it's not just US artists, it's not just, you know, UK artists. They're picking up talent from all over the globe. So, you know, it's just something to keep in mind. I know we talk often about making sure that your music is everywhere because, you know, there's a lot of potential fans just waiting for you. So make sure that you choose wisely when you're looking for your distributor.
Absolutely.
All right. Also, hip hop legend Grandmaster Flash is going to be in residence at the University of Buffalo this fall. So this is pretty cool. He's going to be directing the next Working Artist Lab as a part of a full semester of hip hop inspired classes presented at the University of Buffalo's Arts Collaboratory. So he says that the residency will give him a chance to tell hip hop's whole story because he thinks it's important for the next generation to take music and art, you know, to new places, but they have to know where the foundation came from as far as, you know, who made it and how. So I think that's a really, really great thing that he's doing. And he's also going to be holding a screening of his movie, Hip Hop, People, Places, and Things. So, I mean, just good stuff happening. I love hip hop culture. Like it's something that I grew up with and it's ingrained in me. And I think this is a fabulous thing.
Well, you know, for that part of New York, which is Western New York, Eastern New York gets all the kudos and attraction and the spotlight. But Western New York, over where Niagara Falls, Buffalo are located, you know, there's a lot of groove over there, a lot of groove. And so that's a big move. There's, you know, it's not chump change over there. And what I'm saying is there are a lot of people who are talented. There's a lot of great facilities over there. And so Western New York is really going to welcome him and what he's doing over there, especially in Buffalo.
Awesome. Good news. Good news. All right. And Apple Music. Now, I bet DJs everywhere when they hear this, it's going to be so phenomenal. So Apple Music is going to use Shazam's technology to ensure proper royalties for DJ mixes. So what's going on is that Apple's worked with both major and independent labels on a system that will identify and directly pay the rights holders on a mix. So by using the Shazam technology to do this, it means that, you know, DJs are going to be able to have their mixes up and it'll have, you know, longer shelf life and revenue for the track. So they don't have to worry about getting their stuff taken down. So now they'll be able to put their stuff out there, you know, for collections, their compilations, and even festival sets will be available to stream on Apple Music now.
Well, that's great. You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, another improvement in the system.
Yes, because DJs are so important. You know, if you follow me on social media, you see that I try to pay homage all the time because, you know, they're the ones that, you know, get your music out to more people. So, yeah, I'm excited for all the DJs that I know with this new development. All right, after selling AWOL, Cobalt pays $89 million to buy back equity from shareholders. So this is pretty cool. I think Cobalt sold AWOL to Sony Music back in May for $430 million. So it's agreed to buy back a chunk of equity in its company from shareholders for the price of $89.09 million. So according to their balance sheet at the end of last year, they had more than enough money to cover it. So yeah, at the close of June of 2020, they had 151.5 million in cash and cash equivalents. So, good news for shareholders there.
Yep, good deal.
Mm-hmm. All right. And Live Nation is going to buy a majority stake in Latin America's biggest concert promoter for $450 million. So they originally entered into the agreement to buy 51% of the OCESA and kind of backed out after the pandemic happened. But they had always planned to kind of return and do it, but they just didn't want to take on the loss with the trend of live music, kind of going away for a bit. But, according to Wall Street, this kind of reflects that both Live Nation and the OCESA are what they call bullish about the live industry bouncing back from its downturn. So, the technical terms and stuff for stocks or the lingo, you're either bullish or bearish. So bullish means that you believe it's going to kind of go ahead, forge ahead. So, it's kind of good if they're throwing money into something like this, then, it kind of shows you what trends they're expecting to happen.
Well, turn the page, getting a new chapter. And so much information to absorb and so many different directions to go into.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick music break and then we'll be right back with more music industry news right after this. Okay, and we're back. EMI Production Music has rebranded as KPM Music. So EMI has been around for quite some time. Their library, it spans over 60 years, and they represent more than 40 labels and tons of genres. So its roster of composers that have written number one hits for like Lana Del Rey, Flo Rida. I mean, it's a pretty impressive list. So back in the 60s, they provided some of the most recognized themes that you could see and hear on TV. So what, Wimbledon, Grandstand, and they were behind productions as far as like People's Court, Monday Night Football. I mean, some of those tunes are just timeless. Like as soon as you hear them, you know exactly what it means. So, you know, they've got a lot of stuff under their belt. In 69, KPM became a part of EMI and was rebranded to EMI Production Music back in 2011. So now they're going to kind of shift. And according to the CEO and president, he says that, you know, with them retiring the EMI Production Music name, they're going to try to steer the ship to the future with KPM as their figurehead. So cool stuff happening there.
Well, you know, there's a lot of profit in jingles. And so, you know, that's a segment that a lot of people overlook. You know, but there are a lot of people who that's all they do is try to create jingles. And yes, we're not talking about just income. We're talking about profit.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, speaking of which, Sync Music, the parent company, Go Digital, just bought sound royalties in what they're saying is a high 8-figure deal. So they're not disclosing exactly how much, but the high 8 figures, man, that's coming off of a lot of bread. So sound royalties provides funding against future royalties for all the major collection societies, publishers, labels, distributors, all those people. So they service the transactions anywhere from 5,000 all the way up to tens of millions of dollars. So the creators get to keep their copyrights and their ongoing royalty cash flow above the amount that the firm financed. So they've worked with DJ Khaled, Lil Wayne, Pitbull, Wyclef Jean, the list goes on and on. So in 2017, they got $20 million in cash and funded Sync's $10 million acquisition of the master rights catalog recorded by T.I. while he was in it at Atlantic Records. So, man, 10 million plus acquisition. We don't even have like the full amount that actually was. But 2 years later, Go Digital decided to pump another 40 million into Sync. And so, yeah, that money was used to sign Janet Jackson and buy some other catalogs as well. So, you know, it's kind of interesting to watch the way this money is moving around. One of the reasons why I think it's so important to share with you is because watching what these industry giants are doing and where they're putting their money lets you know, where it goes. What's the old saying? You know, follow the money. So, yeah, they're investing in catalogs, songwriters, and so, yeah, it's just important. And with all the information that was shared today, even talking about, Universal's revenues and how it's kind of spread out across all the people that they have on the label. And it just kind of shows you that some of that classic stuff just kind of stands the test of time. So as an artist, if that's something that you're hoping to be able to do to have longevity, while it's cool to kind of do stuff that might be hot in the moment, it's better to make lasting music if you can, so something that will be timeless and serve you well throughout all these different ventures.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah, that wraps it up for music industry news for this week. We're going to take a quick music break and then we'll be right back before we head out for the night.
Okay.
And that does it for this week's edition of Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. Once again, we're glad that you tuned in. We definitely want you to come back next week. And it's going to be another great time. Can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, and all this information that is being disseminated here, you got to remember, we talk a lot about the big companies and corporations and so on and so forth, but see, you actually can look to see where you fit in. You may have some talents that you can bring to the table to generate some long-term income for yourself. So just stick and stay right here, because all of this information actually can be siphoned down to you and you or you over there, as far as developing your own in the music industry, and it can be done.
Yes, absolutely. So, all right, you know what to do. You know where to find us next week. Tune in, tell a friend, and we'll see you then. Peace.
Peace.